Hey guys, Legendary Grimlock here, and welcome back to another survival video. Today, we're going to be doing another Total Drama, but except we got the White Spikes from Tomorrow War. Yeah, we're doing that one here. And, we're going to use the Total Drama Action Cast, but there actually are some different rules here. Whoever dies, permanently dies. As I kind of want to make this kind of like a narrative survival thing where they're thrown in by Chris McClane every scenario, and yeah, sure, they get revived after every incident, and whoever wins gets $1 million or whatever. But let's just say this time Chris doesn't want them to come back here, and he chooses when and where they vote out somebody. So this means everyone has their past experiences dealing with the Morween, Bigfoot, and everything. So now they're going against the White Spikes, who are bulletproof and they can bend metal. And today, they're going to be placed in Arkham City. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Arkham City. No inmates, no Joker, Two-Face, Penguin, Killer Croc, none of that. And this time, they'll have guns early on. However, they have to get to them. Yeah, this ain't gonna be easy. But again, these guns will be armor piercing, so they'll be able to at least damage the White Spikes. But keep in mind, you could actually go through a full clip with these things and still not be able to put them down. Damage them? Yes. But put them down? Less likely. And keep in mind, those little tail tubes on their back also can shoot spikes that are capable of like one-shotting and even crippling people if they get hit in like limbs and stuff like that. And plus, the White Spikes are also like pack animals as well, so yeah, without further ado, let's begin. Now, they start off in a restricted zone like everyone else does in Arkham City, and believe it or not, the best way to go is straightforward. So they'll have a 10-minute head start, and they will know the map and layout of this area, and as will the creatures. However, the creatures, get contained, and after the 10 minutes, they get released and stuff like that. So with them running, they would have to go through the Bowery. And trying to figure out where to get to the museum through the Bowery is definitely difficult here. Because again, this is a section of a cut of Gotham City, but they do have stairs that actually lead up to the Bowery, or at least to a degree here. So yeah, let's just say that they do here. But they actually are able to beat the White Spikes there this time, meaning that someone doesn't die during the running half here. However, the White Spikes would definitely surprise them by coordinating an assault and might get one of them. But let's actually say here that the White Spikes are released a little later. Yes, they have a 10-minute head start, but I think they would have jumped on it immediately after reading the map and layout of the area and would have just beelined it for the museum, in all honesty. Remember, past experiences with the survivals against other creatures and stuff here. When they get to the museum, and it's going to be a very interesting thing here because they have two ways to get in. Number one is the front, where they might have to hack their way in, or they can go through the alternate way, which is the back door. Now again, there's two ways of really just looking at this here, and it's really from Harold's perspective. If Harold cannot hack this in time, then it's over. They all get eaten and stuff like that, and then, well, I guess we don't really need a survival video, right? But knowing the group and knowing that I'm giving them their past experiences here, dealing with the Morween, the Zilla infants, and Bigfoot and stuff like that, yeah, I think they would take the easiest way possible and go through the back. We'll also be changing the torture chamber here and say it's filled with nothing but ice, because I think swimming or using the rafts to get one point to the other would just take way too long here. Like there would be no point in that. Like, it would take way too long to get to the front. The White Spikes might break in because, again, keep in mind, they can bite through metal. And again, even if you want to say, well, the door's a little too thick for them, again, they could still ram it. Their exoskeletons are pretty hard. They've been able to ram and straight up dent military jeeps. And we know how durable those things are. Those things can take a grenade and only just flip over. So, yeah. So once they're in there, they would find their weapons. I would also give them food and drinkable water. However, this part changes significantly when they have to vote somebody out. Yes, I do see Chris having them vote somebody out when they're at their happiest. And the honest opinion, in my honest opinion, is what I'm trying to say here. Owen is always the first one out, in my opinion. Because again, in the running parts, he's usually the slowest. He's the less athletic of the group. And when it comes to him even making it, he's also the smartest choice to get rid of. And this is because Owen does have a destructive eating habit to where he can eat someone's entire food supply. Like, dude, we don't need that right now. Now, I think it would be kind of dark in a way here because again, once Owen gets eaten, he doesn't come back. This would be the last time they honestly see Owen, and it would be dark. Like, the grim reality of them never seeing him again would be crazy. But now let's talk about the group here. The group in general here. The group chemistry, if you will. And in all honesty, I think everyone gets along perfectly here. I think that, yeah, even Heather, even Courtney, even Duncan, Harold, Gwen, you know, everyone who normally has beef or a grudge against each other, they would all get along perfectly here. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, given them their past experiences and stuff here, they would honestly realize that the moment they either betray, do something shady, or do something that only benefits them and not the entire group, yeah, they're getting thrown or tied up to basically be left there. And again, they would definitely be able to do this and secure the museum. And in doing so, I think they would have two groups here. You have one group in the Iceberg Lounge and or maybe middle or sub-tier groups here, and then you would have other groups at the front of the museum while the others kind of search around, look for anything useful and stuff. And once that happens, I can actually see this group chilling here for maybe a couple days or two. But I think they would still be hearing the white spikes trying to find a weakness. And I think they would have at this point here. It could be a side door. It could be a wall. It could be anything. Remember, these creatures are highly intelligent, enough to put the entire world in a chokehold and almost put humanity on extinction. Come on now. These creatures can coordinate some assaults, all right? And I actually think that one of the few ways they would be able to do it is possibly seeing that they could tear apart the front gate. Like being able to, rip the metal and stuff like that. Meaning they would actually be able to pretty much jump over the gate that is in the Bowery district and just start tearing at the Iceberg Lounge. Which would cause the other group to leave. And then I actually think they would actually be running from the White Spikes through the front of the museum. All right. And they would have to make a choice on where they could go here. And they would actually have only two things really close to them. That would be the church and that would be the courthouse. Now, the church is one of the worst places they could actually hold up. And I think they would note this because once they I think they would probably run towards the church first and then try to double back. And the reason why I would say this is because the church sounds like a better place here. It's well secure, it has that wall and stuff. But again, there's no back door. There's no exit. There's no real room to go anywhere. The best they could do is hide in the top half. And even then, the white spikes can climb. Like, they can scale walls and stuff. They would have already seen that. So, there would be no point. So this means they will have to double back, and I think doubling back would cost them here. And unfortunately, I could actually see 2 deaths here and 1 injury. You see, Beth would be one of the few victims here, and it's unfortunate. But I actually see her and Justin actually getting separated from the group for a little bit, individually, mind you, so they wouldn't have each other. And I actually see them getting taken out by a pack-coordinated assault. It could be just 2 of them. It could be 3. It could be 5 of them. Again, white spikes are very clever. It's like wolves, ants, and monkeys all together. It's insane here. But again, I think after those 2 deaths, they would still be able to make their way to, to the Solomon Wayne courthouse and stuff like that in Arkham City. And I think they would still be able to barricade the first 2 doors and the top door and then leave things, I guess you could say, kind of the way they are. Having the back door just in case here. Because again, it would be their only escape route here. And I think Duncan would actually be upset at this point and actually be like complaining and stuff on how, you know, they're bulletproof, that it takes a whole clip and they have to shoot in specific areas and stuff. And now that they lost 3 members here, and I do think it would take some other members to like calm, you know, Duncan down here again. But the thing is, I also think it would be revealed on the person who's injured here. I think that the group will still be able to set it up without noticing it. But again, and here's, oh yeah, I almost forgot. We would actually give them explosives here. And I think you guys know where this is going because I kind of do it in almost every survival video. But I think the person that would actually be injured would be Jeff. And I actually think DJ would be the one to notice it, as Jeff would probably be walking around with a white spike, what's it called? Those little, well, spikes in his leg here. And then the voting would come up again. And they would have no choice but to have Jeff here. Jeff would actually have to be the one to set off the explosives. And I could actually see Jeff possibly like being placed near it rather than having him walk there so that he could suffer. And in all honesty, it would again be a dark reality. Because remember how many people are close to Jeff. Bridget and him would probably share their last kiss. It'd be some dark stuff. You would have Duncan and, you know, DJ, you know, giving that man maybe one last party and stuff like that. Everybody probably would be partying with him one last time, you know, just, you know, rocking out and stuff like that. But it'd be a very grim and dark reality because now he's not coming back. And once that happens, once they escape, they're definitely beelining it to the GCPD. And I can actually see them being really safe here. Like, honestly, I think permanently safe. Now, you might say legendary. Why would they be permanently safe? Think about it. The GCPD is pretty much covered from all angles, all right? The white spikes can't really break in that much. It would take them a while, but again, they wouldn't be able to, you know, break in. Plus, they have a head start, and the explosion would likely throw them off. Again, they're pack creatures, but they're still creatures nevertheless. And I think using the GCPD's layout and stuff here, covering from all angles, and we'll give them Scarecrow's boat here, you know, but only to get from there to the steel mill area, or at least to the steel mill harbor, without them having to climb, you know, the whole broken bridge and stuff like that. Yeah, they would be able to pretty much just make it work. And I think they would here. However, when they have to move for the final frontier, this is where I actually see Trent, Izzy, and LaShawna actually dying here. Now, you might say, okay, why those three, right? You know, I got you. Now, starting off with Izzy, Izzy's crazy enough to fight one. And I actually can see the first two, being Trent and Izzy, actually dying on the boat here. It's the more realistic outcome here because, again, remember, the white spikes can also swim. They're more adaptable. They're more deadly. They're basically built. They can even withstand cold. Like the white spike queen and her minions actually originate in like the Russian Arctic and stuff like that. It's absolutely crazy. And then you have the sheer fact that I actually see Trent being one of the other sacrificial lambs here, in all honesty. Now, where does LaShawna die, right? LaShawna dies when they're trying to get to the steel mill. And this is that grim reality that, again, these little guys can aim. Well, sorry, not little. These lion-sized guys can aim, all right? The white spikes being able to, you know, nail LaShawna possibly through her leg or possibly through the back as well. Like just pretty much pelting her over and over again. And then she would probably collapse and possibly Harold would try to go for her. But I can actually see Duncan pulling him away. Duncan or even DJ pulling him away here. And this would honestly lead them to going to the steel mill. And they would all, honestly, they could be safer for a while. But I think they would definitely go into the area where Harley Quinn's revenge took place and then lock themselves down there, giving them the final chance they have to not only survive, but escape when that time comes. So in all honesty, yeah, I think they survive, but with some heavy casualties. But before we really end this video, let's talk about their survival rate against the other creatures so far. Starting off with the Morrowind, the first round they had was with the Screaming Gophers from the literal first season interpretation of themselves. They had a 20% rate. With the Killer Bass interpretation for the first season, they had a 40% rate. With Bigfoot and only the Killer Bass here, they had a 90% rate because Ezekiel would actually be the only death there. And in all honesty, it is because they would have immediately doubled back and because Bigfoot can attack the camp here. And they had a much more stronger bond with their team here. Next one up is honestly the survival rate with the Zilla babies, and they have a 70% win rate because again the creatures, baby Zillas are uncoordinated. And finally, with the white spikes, they have a 50% rate. In all honesty, giving them their experience actually does make it a bit better with how they would survive here. But here's the thing, right? Now that they're gone, they're going to be gunning to pretty much end this. They're going to be gunning for Chris McClane here. They're going to try to take him out from now on. And Chris is just going to lead them to their next destination. Let's say they get off by helicopter, a really big helicopter, a military chopper, if you will. So this means that these ones here, everyone you guys see right here, the survivors, are going to be the ones in the next survival video. And that will be none other than the Path of Titans. Who's going to live? Who's going to die? Who survives? And I will see you guys later for the next video. Peace.